Hello, Raleigh. This is your citizen reporter, Robert Courts, coming to you from the YBY Network. And I'm here today with the honor of speaking to Reeves Peeler, who is running for City Council at large. Mr. Peeler, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Robert.
Well, I was tickled to death when we heard you were running, Mr. Peeler. You are a Raleigh native, I believe. Is that correct?
That's right. Born and raised here, born at Rex Hospital, went to Lacey Elementary, Martin Middle, Broughton High School, and then NC State.
Wow. Couldn't get out of town, huh?
Couldn't make it out.
Well, thank you. I think it's particularly important to bring that up as you were running for your hometown and your family's town, and you've chosen to run for Raleigh City Council at large. What's your motivation and passion for running, Mr. Peeler?
Yeah, so I was raised in Raleigh by a state employee and a mediator in a pretty regular family. Went to public schools, great neighborhoods, great parks around where I lived. And, as Raleigh has grown over the years, a lot of that growth has been good for people. And there's a lot more things to do in Raleigh now. We have more resources here. But it's become progressively harder for regular people to live here and to start small businesses here, to find affordable places to live where they can, make a permanent home. And seeing how that's unfolded has made me want to, put together, I think, a better vision for our city where regular middle class, working class, poor people can thrive, not just survive, but thrive. Right. And yeah, I think we have a lot of people that move here, a lot of businesses that come here, and a lot of resources that come here. And I think we should be picky about how we build our city and how we channel those resources into a system that works for everybody.
Well, I saw a recent study that says where if you want to live in Raleigh, you need to be making about $106,000 a year. It certainly is getting more and more expensive to live here. Mr. Peeler, what I'm excited about your particular campaign because as a native son, I feel like you are uniquely qualified to bridge that gap between what Raleigh was and is and what it's going to be. It seems to me that a lot of people come to Raleigh and want to make it into its own vision. And I'm grateful to have a native son running because you will help us keep that continuity. And I believe this speaks back to your current experience. Aren't you currently serving on one of Raleigh's boards of commissions, Mr. Peeler?
Yes, I'm on Raleigh's Planning Commission. I'm a member of the Planning Commission currently.
Well, that's a big part, and we appreciate your service. But that's kind of what I'm alluding to. We need more of Raleigh's native men and women to run for office, so we can keep that continuity. So, what other experience do you have, Mr. Peeler, that qualifies you to run for City Council?
Yes, I've worked as a community organizer and as a campaign manager and as a field organizer for years. And I actually did get out of Raleigh for a short time. I lived in the San Francisco Bay Area for about 7 years and got into neighborhood organizing there around housing issues, experienced my own kind of housing insecurity while living out there because it's a tough place to pay the rent. And yeah, learned a lot of cool things about the field, right? And how knocking doors and talking to people where they're at about what's happening in their city and the issues that are really affecting them instead of talking at them about what they need, right? Hearing from them about what they actually want is a really good way to work with people. And it opens people up and makes them more comfortable working with you. And, zoomed out from that, it's just a good way to run a society and a good way to run a city. And I moved back to Raleigh in early 2021, worked on campaigns here, and actually did a lot of organizing in Granville and Johnston County, just outside of Raleigh in rural communities there, helping develop several working class people to run for office in those counties, worked on some parks campaigns in those counties, public transit campaigns. And although Johnston County and Granville County might be a little different from Wake County,
right?
There's a consistent issue there where there are the resources out there, but we don't channel them into places and things that work for regular people. Whether that's just a small city park, whether it's something much bigger picture like affordable housing or a transit system, or even on the national scale like a healthcare system, right? If working class folks, middle class folks are not in those positions of power and aren't being developed and learning to be leaders, then we end up without policies like we currently are that work for them because they're not there in the process in the first place. So having done that over the last couple of years made me want to really, really run for council in Raleigh from those experiences and working with those kind of people.
Well, I've noticed from your campaign website that your particular platform and the 5 areas that you focus on are particularly citizen-based, housing, better government, all this as you put the citizen first, where it seems to me that a lot of councilors and candidates want to put the developer first. Why is your campaign so citizen-centric?
Well, I mean, that's a great question. For one, I believe real heavily in little d democracy, right? Everyone should have a voice, and local government is really the only place in this world where people can just go and interface with their government. You can't do that at state and federal level at all. So it's really important to do it at the local municipal level. I think even bigger than that, Raleigh has always been a really tight-knit community, and things like the CACs, the former CACs, obviously they're back now as of February, but they're not really in the same place they were prior to 2020. That's a pretty unique system. There's not a lot of cities in the country that have a way to interface with local government like that. So I think those are really cool. And I think we can go beyond those and get even better ways of community engagement. And then the other thing is, this is a city that has a lot of state government, right? It's the capital. We've got a number of universities here. So we have a lot of people that are teachers, professors, that work with young people one-on-one, and people that run the workings of our state. And my dad was one of those people at the North Carolina Labor Department and State Department. But, all our state agencies are headquartered here, which is a really big deal because those people don't make a lot of money, but they do make our state run. So having their buy-in to what's happening in the city they work in and hopefully live in, a lot of those people probably can't afford to live in Raleigh now. I think that's really, really important. And we should pay our own city workers living wages so they can stay here, because you shouldn't be working your butt off to make Raleigh a good city and not be able to enjoy that by not living here.
Right.
I think that kind of all circles back to being citizen-centric.
The real service of government is done by the employees and not the elected officials, right? The actual delivery of government comes from the everyday city employee. And if they have to drive in 2 hours in and out, it's just not fair. So I completely agree. Mr. Peeler, I've seen a great deal of development in Raleigh that just seems to be, let's build it a big box. Let's build it to the edge of our property lines, whatever the setbacks are. And let's just change the facade 2 or 3 times and consider that architecture. I have a real big problem with that. I feel like the developers are here to maximize their dollar at that expense. And I know you know this. Also, though, this has a big impact on small local businesses. Could you speak to the importance of having small local businesses available in Raleigh?
Well, it's everything. I mean, again, I think it goes back to your previous question. If we're not planning a city and envisioning a city where local people are the people who get to have businesses and make money here and also get to live here and also get to use the public transit, then, who are we building it for?
Right.
And obviously the whole country to a degree is in this situation. But you and I are here because Raleigh is a city we love and care about. So yes, other cities are going through it, but other cities are not Raleigh. And we're working on the place that we care about. So I think there's a number of things we can do in our comp plan and our UDO, in these very official ways and in these unofficial ways, like how we converse with developers, how we work with the development community, to encourage them and set guidelines and, discourage certain other behaviors, right? To make sure that the things that get built are local, they're smaller, they're affordable, they're sustainable. And I know that's a big buzzword that everyone uses, but when I say that, I mean things that will be here 10, 15, 20, 30, hopefully 50, 60 years down the road, that are still run by local people and enjoyed by local people and are affordable for your regular local people. And they're not solely built to entice wealthier people who do not currently live here, right? Of course, we do want growth. Of course, we want that. And we want to keep getting more resources here in Raleigh because we're a great place to live. But we should be picky, and we should provide for the people who do currently make up this community and have put so much time and careful effort into making this a great place to live over the decades.
Well, Mr. Peeler, if anyone in our audience wants to be a part of your campaign, what can they do to help, and how do they get in touch with you?
Definitely. So you can check us out, our website, which is reevesforraleigh.com. And that is our tag on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We probably use Instagram more than anything else. So definitely follow us there. Shoot us a message if you want. Those are the easiest ways to get in touch. There's also a way to submit a form on the website. We canvass, which, meaning go out and knock doors around Raleigh. We do that every single Saturday. Sometimes the time fluctuates a little bit. It's usually at 11 a.m. And if you look at the events on our website, you'll see where we are any given Saturday. Love for you to come join us. If knocking doors isn't your thing, there's other ways you can plug in if you just drop us a note. Of course, we have to raise money. We're a very grassroots campaign. So, people who are involved in the city and really care about what's going on in Raleigh, we really want your support. And I want to win a seat on this council so we can do all the things that we were talking about today. And would love anyone out there to come and support us in any way they can. We really need it. We say over and over on our website and everywhere that this is a people-powered campaign. And, that might be a little bit of a political line, but it's true. It's run by regular people, and it's going to be funded by regular people. And our volunteers are people who are out here doing the work in Raleigh and have been forever to make it a place where working people can make it and thrive. So, yeah.
Well, Mr. Peeler, what excites me the most, beyond that we have a native son, somebody who really understands Raleigh, is that you truly want this to be the campaign for the average citizen. You are here for us. You stand up for us, and I'm grateful. And that you would be silly or stupid, crazy enough to run for office. But certainly I invite all my friends, Raleigh, all of y'all need to take a minute to sit down and check out Mr. Reeves Peeler and his campaign and consider voting for his at-large candidacy in November. Any last words you'd like to share with us, Mr. Peeler?
No, I appreciate you doing this, Robert. You're doing a lot of work to inform people about city council and what happens in this city, which a lot of people don't know. And it's great to have more resources like this. But I guess last thing I'll say is, we talked about it a little bit, but there are all kinds of things that are happening in the city as we grow, and it becomes more expensive and tougher to live in this city, state, and country. Almost every day you look, something else is happening. And I said this earlier, but we can be picky. We should be picky. We should build the city we want, and we should build a city that works for you and for me. So come join us in that.
Well, Mr. Peeler, we certainly deserve a candidate that's here for the people and not for the big corporation or the developers, often which don't even live in our area. So Raleigh, check out Mr. Peeler. Mr. Peeler, thank you for joining us. Let's wave Raleigh out. We'll see you, Raleigh, at our very next interview.
Thanks, Robert.